discussion is on Hinduism, its beliefs, and what we call Hindutva, the new Hindu nationalism in society. Basically, having harsh relations with Pakistan, especially with Sri Lanka, to bit a bit Bangladesh as well, and Nepal, and etc. And also Chinese Republic. Starting with the Hinduism, we see that world is home to about 900 million Hindus. Most of them live in India, but large number live in Nepal, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Sri Lanka. It is the third largest religion in the world. It is a tradition that means many things and has many variations. Basically, it's not a unified, centralized religion like Roman Catholicism. It has no formal church and no single authority. It has no founder and no fixed doctrines. Hinduism has different periods. In pre-Vedic period, we see that about 2500 to 1500 BCE, it was a civilization that thrived in the Indus River Valley. Most of the people lived in complex cities. It was a matriarchal society, and people worshipped a mother goddess or Mata Devi. In the Vedic period, from 1500 to 600 BCE, we see that this period is named the first sacred writing for the Hinduism, the Veda. Scholars think that writings were collected at this time, and they started the collection of the writings from different writers, different rituals during this period, focused on prayer, elements of nature, and animal sacrifice. Then in the Hispanic period, that started from 1600 BCE to 200 BCE. In India, ancient culture of India had been unified. Hinduism accepted the Vedas and added Upanishads, and worship began in temples. But their temples had different authorities, different norms, and different cultures. These are the interpretation of the Vedas, and Hinduism started from sacrificial practices to the inner self. Now we can see that it has started challenging the others areas of the life like Buddhism, etc. In Hinduism, life is governed by the law of birth, death, and rebirth. Birth, death, and rebirth, this gave the wheel of the life, or samsara. It applies to the all living things. People may not end up being reborn as human. They could be reborn as an animal. Basically, they give the idea that rebirth is possible for every human, every Hindu human, which has to thrive in the society. But their new rebirth, it depends on their deeds which it did in the society. If it has done the bad deeds in the society, then it means it has to come as an animal or some sort of the other lively thing which is not human and which has a lot of repercussions. According to this belief, Hindus can reborn as a higher state of life, moving gradually upward from the lifetime to lifetime. So these are the eternal cycle of life. However, some reborn is determined by the law of karma. And the karma, which I have stated, that whatever one does in life affects what will be in the next. And best way to ensure good karma is to follow and do the good deeds, which are called dharma. The one's duty to have good beliefs and good deeds. Ignoring dharma builds up the bad karma and also increases the chances of unfavorable birth. And this unfavorable birth in Indian society, it is very much important for them in the Hindu society. Then we move towards the traditional Hindu systems. Basically, there are four systems, four castes, but the fifth one has been added with the passage of time in last centuries. The first one is the Brahmas, the priestly caste, Its role is to study and teach in the matters of the faith, and they have to lead the key rituals in the society. Then we see the Kshatriyas, they are the warrior caste, role is to protect the people and run a fair government. Then we see the Vishyas, the traders, they are the traders, merchants, farmers, artists, business people, etc. And their role is to take care of the economic needs of the society and community. Then come the fourth one, the Shudras. Shudras are the lowest caste. They serve the three higher caste. They are unskilled workers, servants, and menial workers. The fifth caste, it is called the untouchable or the outcast. Normally we see them as Dalits. These are the Shudras of the Shudras in the society, considered outsiders and may not interact in any way with the members of the four castes discussed above. And we see that this has a greater impact on the society. There are different terms, the most important terms of the Hinduism. Number one is the puja. The puja is the act of showing reverence to a god or the aspects of the divine through prayer. There may be prayers, songs, or rituals. The essential part of the puja is making a spiritual connection with the deity. And the home puja doesn't require a priest, but the temple puja typically it is guided and led by the priest. This priest is maybe pandit or maybe some guide. Then comes the doctrine of ahimsa. Ahimsa is the doctrine of non-violence in all life, which is the basis for Hindu vegetarian society. This stands which we may see the personified form in the Gandhism. Then comes the Guru. Guru becomes the one person who shows the example of the spiritual life to be followed. And then comes the there are different names. We can see the tilak. Tilak is basically, it's no religious work should be begun without the tilak, or the basically tilak is done on the forehead. There are 13 places on the body, 13 places on the body where tilak can be placed, and the forehead is the noble place for utilizing the tilak. And tilak is a symbol of worship, devotion, and differentiates by the color to the society as well. And the yoga is the path, bhakti is the love of the god, and karma is the path of the right means, and that janana, it describes as the way of God through intellectual ability. We see different things about Hindu politics and Hinduism. In Hindu politics, we see three things major: Hindu identity and the modern politics, then Hindu nationalism and the future of Hinduism in the politics. So Hindutva means the Hinduness. It is a kind of nationalism in India. The word has been made popular by Vinayak Damodar Savarkar in 1923. There are different groups, there are different parties that follow this ideology. Basically RSS, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, then VHP, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, BHP, the BJP, then it is Bharatiya Janata Party and Sangh Parivar. And the Hindutva considers Hindu nationalism better than religious and culture. Religion and culture, due to this, the people describe Hindutva almost a fascist, and they say that they say that Hindutva is conservative. Chetan Bhagat, according to some sources, he says that Savarkar distances the idea of Hindu and of the Hindutva from Hinduism. He describes Hindutva as one of the most comprehensive and bewildering synthetic concept known to the human tongue. And Hindutva is not a word, but it has a history, not only spiritual or religious history of our people. At times it's mistaken to be confused and confounded with the other cognate term Hinduism but history in full. Thus, indeed, he says that it is farther than something. What it believes, basically, political representation of Hindu nationalism and some cases exclusive interest of the Hindus and the Indic-centered culture. Indic-centered culture, basically, it is India-centered culture which defines that Hindus are mostly represented by Indian culture. Then they consider Jammu and Kashmir as integral and inseparable part of India. They address Christian and Islamic religious practices as an antithesis to Hinduism, and thus they focus more and more on doctrine that Hindutva is more achievable and more practical in Indian society. Then they want to implement social justice in the way that rural practices should be, the interest should be according to the Hindutva model. Then they want to educate the Indian youth in the lines of the Hindutva version of the Indian history, and they want to the RSS, BJP, VHP, etc. All the rules they want to revisit the textbooks as well. Ayodhya and the other sites have been declared and also been usurped by from different other religious followers as a site of the historic religious center. They want to more strengthen the defense forces of India. They also want to replace the secularism in more true secularism, which is the Indianization or Hinduization of the society. And they also want to represent and the internal and the external people. The internal means those who live in Indian society and those who are the diaspora with the in the international forums as more Hindus. More Hindus means that they want to guide themselves as the basic track holder or the flash holder or the torch bearer of the Hindu society. And it also believes that they represent the well-being of Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, or Jainism, etc. in the society of India. The nationalists, they organized themselves into political, cultural and social organizations. The first Hindutva organization named RSS, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, founded in 1925. Then a prominent Indian political party which is also in government currently, the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is also has a larger construct for the Sangh Parivar. For example, they also include the RSS, Bajrang Dal, VHP, Shiv Sena, etc. The Bajrang Dal is a hardcore group of the people of the Hindu following society. There are different other groups. Number one, Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh, HSS. These are the overseas branch of RSS. Then Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, it's the workers' unions. Then Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, student union. Then the farmers' union, Bharatiya Kisan Sanghs. Thus proving that they have different meanings. And then political parties, many political parties, they are also independent from the Sangh Parivar influence, but they don't escape from the Hindu style. For example, they present themselves as the Hindu or the Hindutva groups. Subramaniam Swamy's Janata Party, the Marathi nationalist Shiv Sena, or Akali Dal, and the Sikh religious party or Hindu Mahasabha etc. They represent themselves in different sects of the society, different sections of the society, to represent more and more as Hinduized or Hindutva, the Hindu nationalism. What this Hindu nationalism has impacted to the Indian society. Number one, demolition of mosque, the Babri Masjid, then and for the protection of the Hindutva, Hindu nationalist culture, and recreation and reconstruction of the Ram Dev Mandir, then actions against Muslims in Gujarat, led by the current Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, annexation and promulgation, negation of Article 370, and promulgation of the Indian occupied Kashmir as a integral part of India. And the fourth one is the Ghar Wapsi scheme, that Muslims and the Christians or other religions should leave their religions because they were Hindus in fact, and they have changed their religions. Thus, these actions by the Indian nationalist political parties are forcing the other world to see them as the Nazi groups, which want to replace all the other followers of the religions and construct a Hindu nationalist society that might be more lethal to the regional as well as international or the world peace. See you inshallah with the next episode.